Okay, Erev Tov, good evening. Welcome to Kollel, Baruch Avat Israel and Partners in Torah class. Tonight we have a very, very special class, Baruch Hashem, that speaks about one of the unsung hero of the Jewish people from the 1600, Donna, Gracia, Nasi, the richest woman on earth. Even Queen Elizabeth I said that she was her friend. Okay. But before that, we honor this class and we want to dedicate this class to a very, very amazing rabbi, Rabbi AVRAHAM Cohen from Michigan, Detroit. The reason we have here the founder of Partners in Torah, he and his wife, amazing people, Baruch Hashem, Selwyn and Hillary Isako, they started the Partners in Torah 10 years, 11 years ago. How long has it been?
Much more.
Much more. I was with them
16 years.
So I've been with them for about 10 and a half years, Baruch Hashem. And we've been doing classes every week since. We reached over 400,000 people.
Wow.
Between Facebook and YouTube. YouTube, we have 90,000 people, and Facebook about 300 and some 20,000 for the past, 10 and a half years. So we're going to dedicate this class also, REFUAH SHELEMAH, before we start, to Baruch ben Miriam, ZEHAVIT BAT TOVAH, Guy ben Yitzchak Be'ezrat Hashem, FLORI bat Rachel, Yossi Halevi ben Simcha, REFUAH SHELEMAH too. Anybody want to add? אורטל חנה בת אורי דורה, כן, תכף נגיע, אמרתי, דניאל בעזרת השם, בן זיזל, ממן בעזרת השם, אורה בת, שרה זוהרה בעזרת השם, והבן של לטי בעזרת השם, דיז'אן, היה לו ניתוח היום, שיהיה לו רפואה שלמה בעזרת השם. Anybody else? To all this, as one of our ladies that with Partners in Torah San Diego, but she couldn't make it tonight, so her son has a surgery. Yeah, we get to it. All the soldiers, the wounded, and Be'ezrat Hashem, to the hostages that came back, Refuat Nefesh and Refuat Guf, mind and body, Be'ezrat Hashem, and to guardian of all our soldiers, wherever they may be, Be'ezrat Hashem, all over the world, and Be'ezrat Hashem, to all of us and our children. Atzlacha with everything. Shoshana bat Naomi. Anybody else? Gali, what's her name? Sharon bat Gali, Be'ezrat Hashem. Okay, so I'm going to turn over Be'ezrat Hashem the class to Mr. Selwyn Isako to speak a little bit. We have it online, but this is amazing, amazing rabbi, and I want to please.
Well, first of all, thank you, Rabbi, for
thank you.
Providing Rabbi AVRAHAM Cohen with the opportunity, or with me with the opportunity to talk just a little bit about Rabbi AVRAHAM Cohen. I met the rabbi when he was the principal of the yeshiva, the large yeshiva in Detroit, when we were living in Detroit, and I got a little involved with the yeshiva, basically to help them do some fundraising. And then one day my life was changed when I got a call from the principal, Rabbi AVRAHAM Cohen, of the school, of the yeshiva, and he asked me to be his chavruta at a new program that they were starting at the yeshiva called Partners in Torah. My first question was, what is a chavruta? That's how little I knew. Okay. And, frankly, I wasn't that keen on this whole thing because, I'd never grown up very religious or knowledgeable. I never went to Hebrew school or anything like that. And,
Can you raise your voice a little bit?
Sure. I'm sorry, I'm just recovering from a cold here also. And so I remember standing in my office and thinking, well, I've met the rabbi a few times. He seems like a nice fellow. I'd asked him, how long is this going to take, Rabbi? Because I thought I was very busy and so forth. And so he said, well, it's only 1 hour once a week, Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. And I thought to myself, listen, the rabbi is a nice fella. It's only 1 hour once a week. I'd forgotten that I traveled all the time. But And I'm already on my way. I know what a chavruta means. But I learned that a chavruta means much more than a study partner. The rabbi became a dear friend. We became spiritually bonded. He knew how to teach someone like me with little knowledge and make me feel like I was teaching him. And we had this 33-year once a week meeting, originally in person at the yeshiva. And the first meeting of the partners in Torah in yeshiva, it was three couples, 3 chavrutas. So it was 1, 2, 3. And within a few years, there were over 300 people studying. And he was responsible for that program. He knew how to match people. He understood people very, very well. He was my age. We were within a month our birthdays, and healthy, strong. I lived through marriages of his kids and so forth, and he just was one of these non-assuming guys. He left being a principal of the yeshiva and became head of the Partners in Torah group. And for each of you who gets or reads their weekly reminder about the Partners in Torah, there is always attachment weekly on the Parsha of the week. And he wrote that for every week until 2 weeks ago for the partners in Detroit, and then we would translate it, if you will, or make it ours and put a cover on it, and it would say Partners in Torah San Diego. And it was always very wise and interesting and readable. And he and so we continued this after I moved to San Diego, and I attribute to him not only the interest in learning I did, but the ability that we started as Partners in Torah. We started Shabbat San Diego, if you remember that. We started the Kindness Initiative. We started a Hebrew Free Loan, which my wife is now the president of, making interest-free loans to Jewish people. And it was really that spark that he lit in me that allowed him, in all honor and to Rabbi Cohen. The last time I studied with him, which was about 2 weeks ago, he cut it a little short because he wasn't feeling very well. We spoke about me flying him out here to a hospital that I'm involved in. And I never heard back from him. And he missed, for the first time, since we started doing Partners in Torah here in San Diego, 16 more years or so ago, that he didn't produce that booklet that we attached to the reminder. And my assistant called him, and I figured, he must be busy or whatever. And then he missed my lesson, and I get together. And so I wrote to him. And a couple of days later, I got a text from his son to say that he was in intensive care. And a week later, he passed away.
What year?
Hmm?
What year?
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
2 days ago, he passed away. He's 74 years old, Zichrono Livracha.
Yeah.
2 days ago. 74, 73?
73, yeah.
Oh.
And he was the most gentle, knowledgeable, humble fellow you could meet. And as I say, everything that we've done since then for Jewish people is a result of his influence, and he takes the credit.
Like our Yoram.
Yes, and yeah,
No.
exactly.
You follow
Exactly.
No.
And so I appreciate very much the opportunity to talk a little bit about him.
Of course.
And we look forward to the lesson. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to add a little bit just about the amazing couple that we have here. You know, they say behind every man. Yes, of course.
9 children.
So I wanna-
He never quantified how many grandchildren. But I know it was over 20.
10-year boy. There's so many, Baruch Hashem.
Yeah.
I want to say just a little bit more amazing accolade. Just so you know, Partners in Torah Foundation, if it wasn't for Hillary, it would not exist. Because Hillary, you know, they say a man reach their potential only with a good wife.
Behind.
I agree.
100%. Why? Because the Torah says, "Eselo ezer kenegdo." So I want to attribute, you know, Hillary, thank you for all you do. I know you're the quiet lady behind the scene. God bless you. She also manages, you know, as he mentioned, the Hebrew Free Loans. They have an amazing organization. What, $15 million?
No. We've in the first 4 years we did $2 million
$2 million.
in small loans.
They give
Interest-free.
free loans to Jewish people, interest-free, up to $20,000. If somebody comes through a hard time, you go online. Now you also started the Kindness Initiative. You heard of the Kindness Initiative, which originally, and he took over the Gamach.
That's exactly right.
Right. Oh, good. So the Gamach he took over and made it so much bigger. You know, the Gamach used to be very small. So now if you go, it's a huge warehouse with so many things, the amazing, beautiful thing. Yeah, Karen is running, and Baruch Hashem. Yes, okay. Now, one more thing.
Take care of that based on your
They said there's nothing more important than Torah. I want to also say, ladies, I want to also say thank you to my dear wife, my Eshet Chayil. Because of her, I can teach Torah every day. I have 3 people to thank for. First Hashem, then my wife, then Mr. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this. 1 second. And then I have my amazing miracle boy, my son Nes, here with us. Nes Meir, Baruch Hashem. And we have an amazing hero here. You don't know, but amongst us, we have an Israeli fighter pilot, used to fly the Fuga. You know, used to be a war. Tayas Kravi. Enrique, Elohim Yishmor Oto. He also used to fly for United, San Francisco, Tel Aviv, Japan Airlines, hero of heroes. We became best friends when I moved to La Jolla. He came with me to do my son's bar mitzvah in the Kollel. באתי לכותל לעשות בר מצווה. Enrique. So Baruch Hashem, we're surrounded by a lot of good people, and Viti and Bernie. Bezat Hashem, thank you for all you do. They help the Kollel a lot. Baruch Hashem, and all of you. And Ora, the mother of the Kollel, she's been with us now, Baruch Hashem, for 14 years.
Thank you. Wow.
I want you to tell you a little story. You know, when we started the Kollel, Mr. Sowin, we used to teach in Adat Yeshurun, remember?
Yeah.
And we got so big that he says to me, listen, come to my bank. He's a banker too. He said, I'll give you an office in my bank. You teach every day. We teach there for almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yes, says Baruch Hashem. All right, so now let's get to what we call the attribute to an amazing woman. What I'm about to teach you today, I didn't know myself when I grew up, but I did a lot of studies for the past couple of years about an amazing Jewish woman that's actually born into what we call the Spanish Inquisition in Portugal, okay? And she became one of the most powerful, richest person on earth. She was the most richest woman on earth, more than any man.
What year?
So it was. She was born in 1510 in Portugal, 1510. But her parents were rich to begin with. Once we'll get to all the details, and then
The
she.
time of Columbus.
Yeah, right. Actually, after Columbus. Just so you know, Columbus was Jewish.
Yeah.
Okay. 1492, when they started the Inquisition in Spain. Just so you know, the Spanish Inquisition was led by a Jew.
Wow.
Yes.
Wait, we have another one.
Yeah, we'll get to all the details, but before that, yeah, it's like the sorrows of them. But before we get to that, I want to give you a little history of what happened around the world in that time, because many people kind of like mix things and maybe you don't know. I didn't know myself. Originally, as we know, the Muslim world was controlling majority of Europe back then. They started the whole, Muslim from 711, very amazing, all the way to 1291. That's really what we call the Muslim world. Islam started exactly 1386 years ago. They have 14 years left. That's it. Islam is done in 14 years. Christianity started 2,000 years ago. But in the days when they were in control of Europe, there was a lot of big Rabbanim in Europe. Most of the Rabbanim in Europe, you probably know them, as we have Shlomo Even Gevirol, we have Avraham ibn Ezra, we have Rambam, as we know, about almost 1100 years ago. Then we have Shmuel HaNagid. Then we have, of course, Yehuda HaLevi, which was with the Kuzari. The Kuzari was a king that actually let Islam and Judaism compete for his vote. And Rabbi Yehuda Nasi HaLevi won, and they all converted. The whole Kuzari converted, the whole nation. Like Yitro and Moshe Rabbeinu, same thing. And of course, and then we have Avraham ben Meir ibn Ezra. We have, of course, Moshe ben Ezra and the Ramban later. The Ramban with Nun, not the Maimonides, the Nachmanides. And of course, this is really it took the Christians 700 years to defeat the Islam in Europe. 700 years of wars, okay? So as we mentioned earlier, we have, we're speaking about, it's been 515 years since our hero of an amazing, amazing history. We have it in English called history, right? History, it's his story, right? It should be her story. My dear wife said to me something long time ago. She says, remember, honey, whatever you read is not necessarily the truth. Because history is written by the winners, not by the losers. They can do whatever they want, right? I'll give you an example. If you look at the Wikipedia, who built the atomic bomb in Israel? If you go today to Wikipedia, no, in Israel. Oppenheimer is something else, a long time ago. But there was one Moroccan scientist, the number one scientist of metals in the world, Aviv, Dr. Aviv from Morocco. He actually created the atomic bomb in Israel, and he called the building the textile building. You'll never see it online. They'll never see it online. Same thing with her. This is a woman that there were no second to her since the women of the Bible. If I tell you who she is in a minute, just so you understand, she ruled every king of Europe. She ruled every king of Europe. She ruled every king in Europe. She even ruled couple popes, right? And she made such an amazing impact in Europe that she owned almost the entire fleets of boats in Europe. She owned several ports. Every technology back then in Europe, the wine industry in Europe, everything that you can think of. She had the second largest bank of the world, the Bank of Mendes. This is a kind of woman that the Mossad learned how to do beepers with her. Really, she knew. Now, nobody knows what she did until she revealed. Because, she worked as a Christian originally. As we said, she was born in what we call 1510 in Portugal, in Lisbon. Okay, that's where she was born. Her parents came from Spain, the RICHEST Farad. The Spanish Inquisition, as we know, started originally in Spain in 1497. As we know, as we mentioned, Columbus was a Jew. By the way, Columbus, just so you know, there was a young man, one of the youngest rabbi in Europe, in Spain, named Rabbi AVRAHAM COHEN. He developed the first campus in the world. And he drew the first map of the world to navigate by the stars. So Columbus, he gave it to Columbus. Columbus, 16 years old, became a rabbi. He knew how to read the stars. And when Columbus went on the boat, he said, listen, you're going to make a U-turn. The world is round. You're starting here, you come back here. But be careful at the Caribbean. He said, when you get to the Caribbean, there'll be a lunar,
Lunar eclipse.
Lunar eclipse. Don't park your boats. Don't go out. And he gave him the exact date on Wednesday. And when, by the way, also speaking of the Caribbean, Donna Gracia built all the Caribbeans. You heard of the Pirates of the Caribbean? They were Jews, actually. She created the whole Pirates of the Caribbean, and she gave them the Haifa port. Whenever somebody stole from the Jews in Europe and went, they used to go and rob them in the sea. All the Pirates of the Caribbean, it's her story. You know, the Caribbean, all Jews. All the diamonds that came from the world through India, that was all from Jews. But let's go back to Columbus. And Columbus, of course, went. He took with him 3 rabbis, 3 boats. They celebrated every holiday, came back exactly to where he was.
Was Columbus Jewish?
Columbus was Jewish. You know who was Jewish? We just found out 2 years ago. Muammar Gaddafi was a Jew.
What?
His mother Jewish. Her sister lives in Netanya. Yes. She revealed to everybody that has a big story. Says, yes, my sister is the mother of Muammar Gaddafi.
Wow.
She was kidnapped when she was a kid, a Jew, and was married, which happened to many. That's right. That's exactly that. They say your destroyers will come from within you. So let's go back to Donna, Gracia. So we said after all this and that, she was born to an amazing rich family called Aloro de Luna and Felipe. There was the Mendes family. Actually, originally, some say they were from Morocco, Ben Benisti. They originally, because the first, many people don't know that, but the first university in the world was in Morocco. The first one in 1812. You can look it up. Don't take my word for it. But it was in Morocco, because Morocco was really, they produced the most knowledgeable rabbis in the world. And Jews in Europe, all the doctors of the 15, 16, 17, 1800 were Jews. All the even the Rambam, right?
Yeah.
You heard of the Amanat HaRofim, you have to swear when we become a doctor. It was written by a Jew. You know who actually implemented is the Rambam. The Rambam, okay? So we see that, this amazing time, she was born into this horrific time of, what we call the Inquisition. And the Inquisition, she was born to the family Mendes. Her father name is, did not, when she was born, did not tell her and her mother nothing about Judaism. Because they suffer so much, they hid from her, and they put her in a church. Until she was 12 years old, when she was bat mitzvah, her father revealed to her, you're Jewish, but keep it secret. You're still going to go. The moment he told her you're a Jew, in her bat mitzvah, some of the one of my teachers from University of Bar Ilan, Rabbi Dr. Professor Tzvika Sayak, he has found a letter that he said that's what's ignite her to be the most powerful Jew, her bat mitzvah. Because until this moment, kids are very honest. She says, why we live like Christian? We're Jewish. Why are you worried? We're Jewish. She said to her father, we're Jewish. Let's live like a Jew. So no. Just be quiet. Remember, this is a house, very rich house. The house, his last name was Miques. Miques, they ask him, what's Miques? He goes, I was born on Parashat Miques. That's her father. Yeah. And so, as we know, Mendes ben Benisti Miques, and he actually was also had a bank. And when she was 18 years old, she married another Christian guy, very, very rich guy. She married Francisco Mendes, okay? And he was actually, his Hebrew name was Tzemach ben Benisti. But he also pretended to be a very powerful Christian banker. He had the largest bank in Portugal at the time and Spain, okay? They got married when she was 18 years old. Now, they both know they're Jewish. First, she thought it was Christian. She says to her father, why are you marrying me with a Christian? I'm Jewish. You told me I'm Jewish. I want to marry a rabbi. I want to marry a Talmid Chacham. I want to marry somebody. He says, shh, just listen. Her mother says, don't argue with your father. Just listen to him. So they got married. So this guy, Francisco, they got married in 1528. 18 years old. Her name, remember, is Gracia. Nobody knows anything about Judaism. She's still hiding as a Christian, very powerful banker family, making loans to everybody, all under the Christian rule. And of course, as we know, after she was married for about 10 years, her husband passed away. Her husband passed away. She had one daughter and a sister. And also in the Inquisition, her brother died, was murdered, and his wife. So she adopted his two sons, two nephews. So now she's by herself. Before the husband died, said, listen, take all what we have, sell everything, go live somewhere, build yourself a palace. Don't worry about anything. She's like, you can take his advice. The moment he died, his brother, Francisco's brother, says we need to do a mitzvah of Yabum. You know what's Yabum? Let's say, God forbid, I have a brother and I pass away and my wife doesn't have children. My brother can marry my wife to continue the name. The first son will be the neshama of mine. Guaranteed. This is in my son's bar mitzvah. Parashat Vayeshev Yaakov Be'eretz Mitzrayim is an acronym Yabum. Because that's where Tamar and Yehuda, that's the story of Tamar and Yehuda, that, with the three sons, is all the story there. But in a sense, she said to him, listen, I don't want to do Yibum. I have bigger plans. You'll marry my sister, okay? I'll give you my sister. She's younger than me. Her sister was what we call party girl. She was fully Christian. She didn't want to become Jew. She would go, because they had so much money, so go to all the parties in Europe and whatnot. And, at the time, before Italy was Italy, there was just Venice. And Venice was like the Vegas of the Europe. But what happened in Venice, everybody knows. No, in Vegas, everything stays. But in Venice, everybody knows. And she was known to be a party girl. Okay? So she made a deal with his brother, with Francisco Zichrono Livracha. She said, you'll marry my sister, but one condition. Your brother left me everything. I guarantee to take care of you. You're 10 generations ahead. You're my sister, you marry her. You sign the contract, you transfer all the interest to me on everything that you and your brother had. For that, to marry my sister and let me manage everything, you just enjoy your life. Before the brother died, Francisco, he actually sent his brother, said, listen, I want you to go somewhere. There's a small village in Europe. You open our bank there. I'll send you the money and I'll send you people, everything, open the bank. Send him to where? Antwerp. He started Antwerp. Okay?
The diamond industry, the diamond.
Yes, this is all Jewish, Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just going to sit down.
Yeah. So the brother went to Antwerp, and basically from this moment on now, we got into something amazing that beginning to happen in her life. So now she became the wealthiest woman in Europe. She owns the second largest bank in Europe. Now, nobody knows she's Jewish. She only knows she's Jewish. Nobody except her parents, that, and of course her husband that passed away. And she swore to the brother, don't say anything. The only person that knows she's Jewish is her sister. Okay? So as far as what's starting to happen, her husband, before he died, he discovered an amazing, he used to have, as we said, over 100 boats all over the world. He used to have business from, the Middle East, through Asia, through Africa, through Europe. And when he went to India, because he was looking to do, India has a lot of, natural, he found one of the most amazing thing. It's called black pepper. But it's not the black pepper that we know today. It's a fruit that can maintain meat fresh for minimum 72 hours. Because in the old days, you have to cut the steak, you eat it within 2 hours, that's it. You have to throw the meat. There's no salt. This black pepper is a fruit, cost more than gold. At the time, in the 1600, early 1500, it was the most expensive fruit, that the spice that he used to sell. He made literally, some say billions of dollars from it. Euros at the time, francs, dinars, whatever you want to call it. He imported it. He was the exclusive to all this. When he died, she actually started doing all the spices, not just that. And she started buying king by king. She had so much money. She would come to every king, and she said, listen, you're a king, you're a prince, you are, you want to be successful, right? You need banks, you need employees, you need boats, you need food, you need wine, I have it all. I'll give it to you. Sign for me an agreement that you protect me in your country. Now, every king back then in the 1500, they were very smart. They wanted to know who is the richest person on their country. So they started this whole insurance company, right? And they made a law. If you are insured by the government insurance company, nobody can touch your money. So she went to every country, insured all her wealth through every country. There was Karl V, which was at the time the king of Germany and the king of Denmark. His sister was the queen of Hungary. And he fell in love with her because he heard the richest woman. She lives not far from us. I want to marry her. Donna Gracia wrote to her sister. They were friends, says, listen, tell your brother with all due respect, he doesn't really know me. And he's very ugly. I'm not going to marry him. He got so angry. He says, I'm going to marry your daughter, 11 years old. Give me your daughter if you don't want to marry me. If not me, give it to my uncle. She said, no, that's never going to happen. So he started to say, okay, let's take all her money. The sister, Maria, the queen, says to him, I'm sorry, brother, but you made a law that nobody can touch any money or any jewelry or anything that's insured by your insurance company.
How smart is that?
It's amazing. Now, you have to understand, her bank did something that nobody knew until really 15 years ago. My teacher that taught me all this is a professor. He did his doctorate in Bar-Ilan. And he went to every country she was, and he went to the archives and got everything in writing, proof of everything that what she owned. They did a calculation. In 1536, she was worth $91 billion. Second largest bank in the world. Now, she opened banks all over the world, right? When I say the world, her world was, which actually from what we call the Ottoman, which was from Pakistan, Afghanistan, through Asia, through India, through Europe, through Africa, Central Africa. And what she did, she had all her employees Jewish, but nobody knows. And she made a network of agents that would go to every Jewish homes in Europe. In the time of the Inquisition, it says, how much your house worth? And the guy says, well, what do you mean? They're going to take it from me. They're killing us. They're worth nothing. And I just want to get out of here. He goes, how much do you want for your house? And she bought thousands and thousands of homes and gave them a check. I said, when you leave here, go to Greece, go to Luxembourg, go to this. Here's a check. She owned most of the real estate in Europe. Look at that smart. Then she owned basically almost 90% of the boats in Europe. She had 136 boats that would deliver constantly. What within these boats, all Jews working for her. And a network that was smuggling Jews. 100,000 Jews she saved. Okay. They said that when she actually started this bond, and then she went, because everything that's happened in the Inquisition, because originally we have Fernando and Isabel. King Fernando and Isabel, by the way, King Fernando originally loved the Jews because the richest people of Spain supported him. Donna Barbanel, you heard of him? He was the finance minister, just so you know, and the king loved him. The Queen Isabel was so jealous of his wife, of Donna Barbanel's wife, because she had bigger diamond than her. Yeah.
That's women.
That's women, right?
Causing problems.
Right? No, there's good women and bad women. They say if the husband is good, the woman is good. If the husband is bad, Ezer kenegdo, right? Ezer or kenegdo. So anyway, so she started the Inquisition, really. She's the one that started, let's say, they cannot have a Jew have more than, I'm the queen. She started. Now, Fernand, the king, said to Barbanel, listen, I'm going to save you. Just, pretend you're Christian. You don't have to. And he said, no. So he went to Portugal. Portugal was so happy, like, wow, rich. About almost 90% of the richest people of Spain in the beginning of the Inquisition had the chance to leave, right? But if they didn't leave, they had to convert. And they gave us the name, we call them Moranos. Morano means pigs, right? But 90% pig.
Oh.
Yes. 90% of the Jews of Spain own Spain. Owned Spain. Owned Spain. Same thing with Portugal. Portugal, 70% of Portugal, Jews, owned Portugal. Many people would know there's two Jews that started China. Two Jews, Sassoon and Kaduri. Without them, no, they started the whole trade to China. Before China became China, that's why the Chinese love Jews. They hate Muslims. They honor Jews. You can go do a speech as a rabbi in China, but it cannot be. There's not even one mosque in China. These two Jews, very rich, Kaduri and Sassoon, the last king of Shanghai. My wife recommended a book for us to read. Amazing book. By the way, I read some of the book you mentioned. So, for an example, in America, Eliyahu Salomon, he saved America. A rich guy that gave a loan to America to start peace. That's why they gave him in the dollar. In God we trust. That's for him. And the sign of the Nesher, it's called, the Rambam and the 13 stars. Yeah, you have the 13 star and the olive branch and all. It's all for the Jews. But anyway, so when she began all this now, so she created such a network. And again, nobody knows she's Jewish. The richest woman. She gives bribes to every king, every prince, everyone. So she can really protect herself and the Jewish people. And she used to smuggle Jews all over the world. Okay. When the time came that she had to leave, because what happened? She went to, before Italy became Italy, there was a king of, we said Venezia. Venezia was like the capital of, before Italy became Italy, was Venice. Everybody was like the most powerful. There was the two family, the Este family and the Medici family, right? Medici. So she went to Venezia. Her sister was so jealous of her, she actually told the king, my sister is Jewish. So they arrested her. And they took her kids, put them in a church, arrested her in jail, and arrested her sister now. Yeah. Oh, Baruch Hashem. So, Baruch Hashem. So now, something amazing. I told you that she, that's okay, Benny. She actually, as we know, her brother died, so she adopted the two sons, right? One of the sons was one of her confidant, and he became like the ambassador to her family, to every country knew him. You probably know him by a different name. You heard of Don Juan?
Yeah.
That's him. That's her son, adopted son. Don Juan later on became Don Yosef. Don Juan, they say every prince in Europe wanted to sleep with him, even the son of the king of Spain.
How come?
He was so handsome and so lover, He was a politician. He was like, he was so powerful, so rich that he had an open house to every country. So she calls him from jail.
Can I have his address?
Yes, right? She calls him from jail and she goes, you need to help me. I want you to go to who? Go to Suleiman the Great, the Ottoman kingship. Why? She said to him, listen, the only place you can be a Jew is in the Ottoman, kingship, empire. So now Don Juan, this is the real Don Juan. Many people don't know, but he's the original Don Juan. Yeah, there's many fake Don Juan, right? But the original is a Jew, her son, adopted son. So Don Juan goes to the doctor of Suleiman the Great. All the king had Jewish doctors.
Yeah. Where was
Right.
Suleiman the Great?
In
Turkey?
In Turkey, in Istanbul.
Yeah, Istanbul.
Okay, so she sent him to Istanbul. Now, to see that, to see the Ottoman king, you have to have very close connection. How do you get to them? The one that take care of you. So he goes to the doctor.
Right.
She said, listen, his doctor is Jewish. She knew everyone. She knew every key person in Europe. She even owned 2 popes. She used to bribes popes not to kill Jews, except one of them that ended up killing 24 of them. But she actually destroyed him. But anyway, so she sent her son, and he goes to this doctor, Moshe Amon, his name, and he says to him, listen, we need to get to the Ottoman king, to Suleiman the Great. He goes, why? He says, my sister is in jail. We have to get her out. Her children was taken to the church, her sister. We need help. He said, why would I help you? I mean, I have to have a good reason to go to him. He said, I'll give you how much money you want. He goes, I work with the king, whatever I want, I have. I cured the king. I asked him for a house, he gave me a mansion. I asked him for gold, he gave me a truck of gold, whatever I want. He says, I'll tell you what, Don Juan says to Dr. Moshe, I'm supposed to marry Reina, which is the daughter of Donna, Donna Gracia. I'm supposed to marry her. I'll give her to your son.
Wow. Yeah.
Now, to marry the richest, daughter on earth is a big proposition. So the doctor goes to the Ottoman king. He says to him, Suleiman the Great, I need a favor. I take care of you. You're alive. You're healthy. You love the Jews. We have the most important Jewish woman in jail in Venice. We need to get her out. So he says, okay. He sends a letter, official letter with the signature on it, with a messenger and Zygmunt. And he says to him, listen, this woman you arrested, she's Turkish citizen. You have to release her. The king, I have some, thank you. The king says, what do you mean Turkish? I don't care. He says, I'll give you a week. If you don't stop and release her, I will destroy your country like I destroyed Croatia of the time, was, Dubrovnik. So after a week, he released her, released her sister, released everybody. Now, that's a big favor. Look how smart this woman is. Donna Gracia says, I'm not going to Turkey. If I go to Turkey, I think he owns me. I owe him. She went to Ferrari.
To where?
Ferrari. Ferrari is a small city outside of Italy, right on the border. And she actually decided that moment, she tells the whole world she's Jewish. Now imagine now, for an example, you have, everybody knows now, Diamond and, all of those are Jews. Yeah, the Bernanke is Jewish. There's all the money people in the world. Everybody knows they're Jewish. But back then, it's impossible, the second largest bank in the world, to be Jewish. Because all they do is lend money to Christians, right? All they do is they support Christianity, but nobody knows they're all Jewish. The whole network of everything. Imagine the whole Navy in Europe is Jewish. The whole, wine industry, the whole, spice industry, their real estate, their banking. She owns everything, and everything she has is a loyal soldiers that helps her. So, whatchamacallit? She went to Ferrer, and she went to the king of Ferrer. She says, listen, I'm going to take care of you. How much money do you need? But I want you to let me do something. I'm going to have the house of Este, the house of, there's two homes, the richest, Italian families. They owned all the banks, they kill many people. There's many movies about them. And she said, I want you to guard me here. I'm going to be here in your country, in Ferrari, like that's where, and I'm going to make an announcement. And she came to the world that she's Jewish. Now, the whole world knows that she's Jewish.
Wow.
So she lived there for a couple of years. Then she went, of course, to Dubrovnik. She bought the city of Dubrovnik, the whole port. That was her port. Dubrovnik is used to be called, before it was Dubrovnik, it was Ragosa. You heard Via Ragosa? That's from there. She actually, in Dubrovnik, there is today, is the first Spanish synagogue ever in Croatia, was built in, it's called the top of the mountain. It's the
like
the steps,
pyramid?
exactly. The steps. There is a hill.
Oh, I saw that.
There is a hill that's 65 degrees, and she built to get to the top of the shul through every house. You go through the houses. You go 650 steps, and at the top is the big shul, where everybody, it looks like a church, but it's a shul, a secret. So she basically built the hall, rebuilt it, fixed it, and she started installing big rabbis all over Europe. Now that she's Jewish, so she spent a couple of years there, and then she basically owned now everywhere. She owns everything. The king of Poland, she owned the wine industry, right? The king of Poland started importing wine outside of her so-called distribution. Now she owns the distribution she bought it from the king of Turkey, of the great, amazing Sultan. She said to him, "You help me, whatever you pay for wine, I'll give you 10 times. Let me have the rights to distribute all over the world." So the king of Poland started going sideways to try to like a better deal, right? $2 Chuck. You heard of $2 Chuck?
Oh, yes.
That's it, right? They said, let's buy cheap wine, and start selling. So she said to the king, "Look, he's going behind your back." You get one letter from the king. I said, "I'll tell you what, I will stop, but if you help me, I have a war with Germany. At the border, send me some money so my soldiers can win." So I send him money. Now, after that, she decided to go to Istanbul. She goes to Istanbul, and she starts now rearranging the whole Jewish world, really. An amazing way. She installed rabbis all over Europe. She built, at the time, the Jerusalem of the world was Saloniki in Greece. She built the whole this, okay? She built in every country. She installed many rabbis. When she came to Istanbul, she decided to go meet and thank, the Sultan for helping her. The Sultan, by the way, just loved the Jews. You can only be a Jew in the Ottoman Empire back then. So she comes to him. She says, "I want to thank you for what you did for me, but whatever you did for me, I'll do 100 times more for you. I want you to sell me Jerusalem." She said, "I want to buy Jerusalem." He says, "I'm sorry, we cannot sell Jerusalem. There's Christians, there's Arabs, there's too much going on there." She goes, "I'll tell you what. Okay, not Jerusalem. I want to buy Tiberias." Tiberias of the time was holier than Jerusalem. Because, Jerusalem disappeared from the history of the Jewish people for 500 years. The holiest city was Tiberias. That's where they wrote the Talmud Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi, the Talmud, there's two. There's one in Babel, right, the Babylonian, and there's the Yerushalmi was written in Tiberias. Okay? So it says,
Why did you call it?
Yeah, Yerushalmi, because the capital of Israel, Yerushalayim. You cannot call Tiberias. By the way, the city of Tiberias is named after a Roman Jew, a Greek Jew that was named Captain Tiberius. He was like the warrior from the Greeks, and he named the city Tiberias on his name. Okay, and he basically, when Tiberias became the holiest city, that's where all the Rabbanim used to be writing, the Talmud. She goes, "I want to buy Tiberias." So I said, "Okay, I can sell Tiberias, not Jerusalem." She goes, "Okay, how much do you want for Tiberias?" He start calculating. We have the Kinneret, we have fishing, we have attraction, this. He give her a price. She goes, "Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you 10 times more, but I want you to help me with Jerusalem." He says, "Why?" He says, "There's a lot of problem in Jerusalem. Jerusalem had 44 wars to date. From the destruction of the temple until now, 44 wars in Jerusalem. You know who were the first people to burn Jerusalem?
No.
The tribe of Judah. In the book of Shoftim, because there was Avodah Zarah. There was a lot of idolatry, so they burnt everything. Right? Yerushalayim, you will never find it mentioned in the Torah. Right? But it appears in the Nevi'im, in the prophets, and in the Chronicles 669 times. That's why we have a unit 669, right? In the military,
Yes.
is the best unit to rescue. Right? It's on Jerusalem. We know here we have a hero. So she said, "I want you to help me with Jerusalem." So he goes to Jerusalem. The king of the Ottoman goes because she asked. She gave him 10 folds, and she said, "Whatever you make, I'll make you more. I own the world. Whatever you need. You need anything in Afghanistan, in India, in Europe, I will give you. I'll manage your money. You'll give interest. Whatever you charge, I'll give you 100% more interest." You know, she owns everything. She owns kings, she owns houses, she owns, you name it. So he goes to Jerusalem. There's an amazing story which they don't even teach us in schools about growing up. So she sees a mount of garbage. He goes to, where today the King David Hotel.
Yeah.
And he's like, what is this stench? What is this crazy stench? What stinks? So he said to him, long time ago, there's a crazy Arab that paid a coin to every Arab that brings his garbage to Mount Moriah to cover the Kollel. The Kollel used to be covered with garbage. So Suleiman the Great says, okay, no problem. He said, can I borrow 2 of your boats? Send them to Istanbul. Send them to my guy. Fill them up with gold coins and bring them back to Israel. Then he made an announcement. Every person every morning that take 1 kilo trash out, get a gold coin. Within 1 week, they clean up the whole hotel.
That's a good idea.
So, now just so you know, the walls around Jerusalem, he built it for Donna Gracia. Her name now is not Donna Gracia. He called her La Señora. But her Hebrew name is Hana Nasi. That's her real name, Hana Nasi. Mishpachat Nasi. Yes. Nasi means prince, in the Hebrew, the holy Hebrew, not president like you think. Nasi could mean a president, but the real Nasi is a prince. He was a princess. La Señora. By the way, she built 2 schools in Europe, one in Turkey and one in Portugal called La Señora. She built thousands of schools, but just so you know. So as a thank you, he built the wall for her. The whole walls that you walk on around there, he built them. Okay? And he cleaned the Kollel and everything. He says these are the most religious places on earth for the Jews. What is it? Because we have one of the gates in Jerusalem. We have 8 gates to Jerusalem. One of them, Sha'ar Hashpot, the garbage gate, right? What is the Sha'ar? In the book in Nehemiah, yes, in the book of Nehemiah, they said that when the Beit HaMikdash exists, they take all the trash through this gate and they throw it to Nahal Kidron. They throw it to the valley right behind. That's Sha'ar HaAshpot, the garbage gate, right? There's one gate that's not open today, just so you know. From all the 8 gates, Sha'ar HaRachamim, the gates of mercy, is closed. When Mashiach comes, she revealed to him. Look how smart she was. A very orthodox, she knew more than many rabbis. She said, I want you to know, Mashiach is coming to Tiberias, not to Yerushalayim. When Mashiach comes, I don't know if you know, 2 months ago, after Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky passed away, he was my rabbi, one of my mashpia. His grandson is my chavruta. The next rabbi is Rabbi Zilberstein from Bnei Brak. He's one of the 36 rabbis. He went to visit Rabbi Cook in Tiberias 2 months ago. Rabbi Cook told him that Mashiach came to see him already.
Wow.
In Tiberias. It's the Cook family, very famous. So she said, it says in our Talmud, in the Yerushalmi, that I'll meet Mashiach in Tiberias. So the Suleiman was so impressed with that. He said, I'll do you a favor. I'll make walls for Tiberias too. The walls that we have from, when Jesus walked on the stone of the Kinneret, right?
On the water.
The stone. There's stone. Avanim. Then you're right. It looks like water, but it walks on stone, right? When he walks on the stone, the Kfar Nahum Shama, where the church, all the way to Shukun Aleph, the wall, there's a big wall. He built it for Donna Gracia. Okay? He loved her so much. They were so much amazing friends. Whatever she asked, he did for her. And he allowed her to actually restore Judaism in all the Ottoman Empire.
Wow.
Now, this is a woman that literally, there was no second to her since the woman of the Bible. If you take, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Rachel, Devorah, Yael, are heroes, right? She actually did more than all of them combined.
Yeah, but it's a different time.
Yeah, so now,
You can't
we
really
have,
compare,
we don't compare. You can never compare anything. But a woman that did so much for the Jewish people should be taught in every class in Israel, in every Jewish school in America or the world. Because of her, everything was restored. 15 years ago, they opened a museum for her called the Donna Gracia Museum in Tiberias.
Wow.
And who opened it? This amazing group that they said we have to tell her story. So when they started, gathering, because this professor, Dr. Tzvika, went to every country and went to the archives and got all the proofs. Everything I tell you has a letter attached from the government of that place. And so they said to him, listen, why don't you invite all the ambassadors to the opening in Tiberias? There was a very famous builder in Tiberias, Amsalem, Mishpachat Amsalem, which I know very well. They bought the whole building, Baruch. They bought, so they said to him, listen, go, invite the ambassador. So naturally, he goes first to the ambassador of Portugal. He says, wow, that's amazing. Yeah, we're doing an opening, grand opening. We want you to come, maybe speak a little bit, He says, of course, my wife and I will come. Make sure there's kosher food. He said, what do you mean kosher? You're Christian. He said, no. And go to my cousin in Denmark. He's the ambassador. Tell him to come too. He's Jewish too. He goes, what? He says, and the president of Portugal is Jewish. He does Pesach with us every year. He flies. Now, today, this is like I'm talking in the last 15 years. There is so many Jewish that don't tell anybody they're Jewish, but they run countries all over Europe. I went to Mexico when I did the expo. Remember in Mexico?
Yeah.
So they said to me, listen, you have to meet with the ambassador. If you want any business in Mexico, you have to get the approval of the ambassador. So I went to meet with the ambassador. I go there with my tzitzit out and the kippah. So I give a presentation. There's 20 people. I speak in front of everybody. When I'm done, the ambassador stands up. She says, Kol hakavod, be'emet, kol hakavod. I said, what? She goes, I learned in Tel Aviv University. My name is so-and-so. You met her, remember?
So funny.
All the government are Jews in Mexico. 90% of the government in Mexico are Jewish. The richest people are Jews. Many of the Mexicans that we have today are Spanish Inquisition that ran through Turkey, that went to Mexico, that went to everywhere.
She's a communist.
How come the president is Jewish and she's so against
Communist.
Israel? Communist.
So I leave politics out, but they say whoever doesn't have Yirat Shamayim Sheinbaim, whoever doesn't have Yirat Shamayim will never have Yirat of anything. Whoever That's right. They say every day we have to be with Hashem, right? We are, we're the children of Hashem. We're the only one that survived everything. No matter how mighty they were. Like Mark Twain once said, if you want to know God, look at the Jewish people. Right, he wrote in his book, with the hand behind their back, they killed everybody. Everybody's gone, no matter how big they were. Oh yeah, originally, but then he became not. Then he said, listen, if you want to know
That's
God,
because he visited there.
that's right. He visited. He had a rabbi friend. He says to him, stop.
October 7. After they came, they become.
Yeah.
They become Republican.
Yeah. So let's continue a little bit more about her. So now, Donna Grazia basically started what we call the Jewish empire all over Europe. And, she never managed to really come to Israel. She died in Istanbul, but she was buried in Israel. They brought her and buried her in Israel. Yes. She's buried in Tiberias. And she basically,
What age did she die?
she was very young, if I'm not mistaken. She passed away in 15, here, I'll tell you exactly so I don't make a mistake. She passed away, there you go, in 1263. Oh, no, I'm sorry, no, in, no, I'm sorry. 69, in 1569 she passed away, okay?
So she was about 40.
59 years old.
59 years old, she was born in 1510. Now, I want you to see something amazing, because, we said that, Viti said something beautiful, says that your destroyers will come within you. This is in the book of the Tanakh, the book of Ishaya. It says that your destroyers, it will come from you. You heard of Sancherib?
Yeah.
Sancherib came to destroy Jerusalem. You know who was his grandfather? King Solomon. He was the son, he was the grandson of King Solomon. No. King Solomon married Queen Shiva.
הוא היה בן של
הוא היה הנכד, לא, נבוכדנצר זה הבן שלו. So Sancherib was the grandson of Queen Shiva and King Solomon, right? And his son was Nebuchadnezzar to come to destroy Jerusalem. You heard of Jeremiah the prophet? Jeremiah the prophet was reincarnation of King Solomon trying to save his temple for 40 years. The Arizal and the Kabbalah, the Zohar says in the Arizal in Shara Gilgulim, Jeremiah is King Solomon 40 years trying to save his temple. So it wasn't destroyed by his great-grandson.
They call him the crying the prophet.
Yes.
The crying.
Yes, he used to cry because King Solomon was about to destroy what he built for 410 years. You know, many people don't know. But you know, the Chabad rabbi, God rest his soul, the last one we have, Rabbi Melubavitch, he was such an amazing rabbi. When he became a rabbi in 1950, that was his year that he became a rabbi, the first shluchim he sent to Morocco to open the first Chabad in Morocco.
Why is that?
The majority of the rabbis of the world that really came, like, came from Morocco. And he said, we want this knowledge. They know the Zohar, they know the Kabbalah. Because, you know, the Baba Sali and him were friends. They used to write to each other by telepathic. And telepathy, and they used to write everything that, you know, he used to say, this is what the rabbi says, and this is the rabbi. They used to talk like this, you know. And he was the seventh rabbi. You know, the seventh is always a blessed one. King David was the seventh son, you know. Baruch Hashem. I'm the seventh one, but not so lucky. But I want to maybe leave few moments for question if you have. But I wanted you to please take a time whenever you can. Learn about her. She's an amazing woman that did so much for the Jewish people, more than any woman for the last, you know, amazing. Exactly. So now they did a research. You know, she asked a good question. She asked why we didn't hear about her. So they say that, you know, at the time, most of the reporters hated, they were so against women. They could not admit that woman is better than them, which is a big problem. And also they cannot admit that a religious woman is better than them. She was religious. So they didn't want to advertise her. Since the 1500, when she did everything for 59 years, nobody advertised except the people that did one. Other kings spoke about her. Other leaders spoke about her, but not the Jewish leaders. Okay, that's the reason. That's why it says his story, not her story. Nahon? Anybody else? You want any question? Enrique? So good to see you. Any other question or anything to add?
Book about her?
Huh? There is 2 books written about her, not very precise correctly. One by Cecil and another one. You can look. It's called the book that says The Woman That Defies Kings.
Wow.
Okay, read it. It's a good book. But I want to, Be'ezat Hashem, you know, we have to, most important thing is to understand. We come now to a month of Adar. This is Chodesh Adar, Rosh Chodesh. And what we say when we say Rosh Chodesh? Mishe nichnas Adar. Hey, Mishe nichnas. Marbim besimcha, right? You know who wrote this? Mishe nichnas Adar. Who wrote this? Is the grandson of Haman. He converted. Grandson of Haman, right? Haman Agagi, the Haman of the story of Esther and Mordechai, his grandson converted. His name Rabbi Shmuel Bar Shilat. Yes. Rabbi Akiva converted him. He became the #1 teacher in Bnei Brak for the children. So Rabbi Akiva said, what name do you want? He says, I want to be Rabbi Shmuel, not Rabbi, before he became a rabbi, Shmuel Bar Shilat. He said, okay, I know Shmuel, we have Shmuel the prophet. What's Shilat? I never heard the name Shilat. He says, Shilat, Shiviti Adonai lenegdi tamid. He says, I'm always with Hashem. He actually wrote this in the Gemara. In Masechet Ta'anit, Mishe nichnas Adar, marbim besimcha, Mishe nichnas Av, mamaitim besimcha. Most of our big rabbis came from the Goyim. Just so you know, Rabbi Akiva, you know who was the grandfather of Rabbi Akiva?
No.
Sisra. You know, Sisra and Yael, Rabbi Akiva came from them. Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes, right? Sancheriv, as we know. We have Shmaliah and Naftalion. Shmaliah and Naftalion, they came from Sancheriv. Oh, many of our big rabbi, Unkelus and everything. So I want to thank all of you and everybody online. Thank you so much for being with us. Elohim yishmor etchem. Thank you, Mr. Isako. Thank you, and Mrs. Isako. God bless you, and thank you to all of you. Thanks to my dear wife, and Be'ezrat Hashem, thank Hashem for everything that we do. Thank you so much. God bless you. Yalla, בכבוד. Baruch Hashem. Okay.
הוא התאסלם בגלל ששר האוצר של המלך שם.
כן.
הוא אמר לו שהוא לא גילה לבן שלו שהוא יהודי. הוא חי עם המלך, כי היו הורגים.